All righty, we have another awesome interview here for On the Clock. We got Griffin Herring, left-handed pitcher with Louisiana State University. Pitched last year in Omaha, had a pretty good season. Griffin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing
Yeah,
good.
we're excited to have you on. So the first question that we always ask our guests, just because a lot of people might not know who you are, give a little bit of background on yourself, kind of how you've developed through your amateur career and some of the things that you really love to do outside of the game as well.
As far as my career goes, pretty much started I think where most people start, T-ball, like 6 years old. Kind of got into select really early, like pretty much played 1 year of rec and then was straight into it. Just kind of played the usual summer circuit, WWBA, all that, and then when I got into high school, I went to South Lake Carroll. It's just in between Dallas and Fort Worth. Um, had a good time there. Won a couple championships, so that was really cool. Made a ton of really great friends. Um, Outside of baseball, I like to cook. Picked that up during like COVID. Was trying to get more serious about baseball, really get into all the meal prep and everything, and figured at least, I mean, I like to eat, might as well make it taste good. Tired of like some bland ground beef and rice or whatever, so kind of started to watch a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that. I like to fish. I haven't been as much. Kind of same thing with golf. Like once we get farther into the season,
Mhm.
it's like I can't really do it as much. But summertime, definitely like to do that. And I recently got a dog, so she's actually sitting right here with me.
Very cool. What kind of dog?
Miniature dachshund.
Nice. Is it a puppy or did you get a kind of adult age?
She's about 3 4 months old, so she's
Okay,
still pretty
nice.
pretty puppy.
I love that. I love that. It sounds like you have a bunch of passions that kind of get you away from the game. Before I turn it over to Tyler, I was going to ask you some questions about your game and things like that. I got to ask, what's the go-to meal you like to cook?
The thing I'm the best at is definitely steak. I've got like a whole. I remember one. I think it was like my 17th birthday. Maybe I asked for a sous vide. So I got
Nice.
like the full kit. So I'll sous vide them and then throw them on the grill. Pretty pretty good.
Love it. Love it. Tyler, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, I mean, are we talking about the golf game or the baseball game? Which one?
Whichever one
I
you want to
think
go
I
with.
think I'd probably rather talk about baseball.
No, I mean, for what it's worth, I golf pretty avidly as well. So, but no, going on with like the baseball stuff, because I remember watching you PG National in Tampa a couple years ago. And then I get to saw you against South Carolina this year. Because if I remember correctly, you pitched in the first game of what was supposed to be a doubleheader. Just like kind of go over what this season was like, because I know you gave some velocity. The slider's really, really good. And then of course you get to Omaha and you pitched against Wake. Kind of just tell me about that experience as well.
I would kind of define the year as relatively good. Definitely had some ups and downs. Had some outings that I wish I could take back, but I learned a ton. I learned a lot about kind of the mental side of the game. That talent, like the talent, really is like the jumps. Obviously, guys are much better in college, much better in certain places, Omaha and whatnot. But like the talent gap isn't as big as the mental gap. Um, so early on, just kind of had to figure that out. And Coach Johnson did a great job. Let me throw some midweeks, kind of get my confidence. And then kind of it all culminated in Omaha. Got to stay out there a little bit longer than usual. Longest outing by a decent margin of the year, and um, I I don't know if people really understand this, but like Omaha was not as nerve wracking as the box was. Like those first couple times I pitched in big SEC games,
Hmm.
it's not as like up on you, and like even though there's like double the fans, it's really not as loud. I pitched against Tennessee, and we had pretty much a packed house. I closed the last 2 innings, and I would say that was probably a decent bit louder. So I think that playing at LSU really kind of helps sharpen you into a player that's ready for those kind of moments.
No, 100%. I mean, the SEC, just from my experience, the crowd level is insane.
Yeah.
Knoxville was incredibly loud each time I've gone there. South Carolina this year, when you guys were there, was probably the loudest I've ever experienced a crowd. Which, granted, like the ACC is kind of like the loudest you'll have it all year is probably the tournament in Durham or Charlotte. But I mean, the SEC is just on a different level.
It's pretty unreal. Our fans are kind of the best in the
Yep.
business.
Tyler and I were talking about it before the podcast. I used to do baseball operations at the University of Nevada, and we went to Arkansas for like a midweek game, and there was 5,000 people still there, like, and it was pouring rain for a midweek game, and we were like, we get like 10 people to show up to the University of Nevada for a baseball game, so it was just kind of nuts for the guys to have to transition to that.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool environment. I'm really excited to go on some of our away games this year. I know Knoxville, Fayetteville, gonna be intense, gonna be fun.
Yeah, you talked about a little bit for the upcoming season. What are you most looking forward to in the 2024 season? What did you work on this fall to kind of get you prepared for the upcoming college season?
I mean, I would say I'm just looking forward to a fresh start. Obviously, like our team is vastly different. We don't have Paul Skenes and Dylan Cruz, but I think that as a whole, our depth really hasn't changed all that much. I think we've still got. I think our staff is unbelievable. I mean, just watching some of these guys pitch in the fall, transfers, guys that even were like redshirted. One of my good friends, DJ Primo. I mean, comes out lefty throwing 95, and he was redshirted last year. Like, I mean, you don't see that a lot of places. But I'm really excited about this year.
I did want to ask one question because you bring up Cruz and Skeens. Did you have any like trying to think of like the best way to put it, but like any good interactions with them or any like tips that you learned from them specifically, especially with Paul, considering that you shared the same bullpen?
I definitely use Paul as a resource. Like early on in the season, last fall, I didn't perform that great, and I think that a lot of it was kind of I just didn't have the right mentality, and so I just would go to Paul and ask him like what are you doing before games? How do you get your mind right? How do you find confidence? Those kind of things. And from Dylan, I wasn't with him as much, but I mean, you can just like you go up to the facility on a Sunday off, like I mean, you're probably gonna see him. Like he just he's such a good dude and like such a nice dude too that like he's just a guy that you want to follow after. And that's I think just about anybody would tell you that.
Yeah, I love it. The other question I was going to ask, kind of building off of Tyler's, there is we all know Coach Jay Johnson's just like a big, huge players coach. He came into Nevada after I had left, and all the players just said it was a complete like 180 turnaround of the program when he was there. Talk about your experience. What has it been like playing for Coach Johnson and kind of using his mentorship to help you as well?
I don't think there's a better coach to play for in the country, honestly.
Yeah.
Coach Johnson, like he really truly cares about each and every one of us, and he's so determined to win. Like if you asked him, probably he would say that he thinks that we should go 70-0 every year. Like that's how confident he is, and it's not arrogance. It's just he's just a winner. Like that's just what it is. And I think that kind of the messages that he conveys to us and the way he goes about his business, it really rubs off on guys, and definitely has rubbed off on me.
Yeah, I love that. Tyler, I turned it over to you before I kind of dive into the last couple questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Kind of like last question. This is more of like a pitch perspective, kind of. But with that slider, the one part I remember about it was it was like 84, 85 last year when I saw you at South Carolina. Felt like it was a really, really good pitch. Do you kind of want to, you mind just diving into that a little bit more? Because I know not all pitchers have that kind of slider from the left side. So like, if is there any like uh, specific thing that you do with the slider that kind of lets it, snap harder or get you a little bit more sweep that really makes it play up from what it is?
I think I don't really know, but I would say a lot of it is just the intensity and the confidence that I have in it. I've been using this grip since junior year of high school. Kind of just felt really easy to me. I picked it up like in the bullpen before a game and just like started throwing it. It's a lot more gyro. It's like on the TrackMan, like you look at it and it'll be like 0-0, which I think kind of helps me to throw it a little bit faster. I have added some sweep to it kind of in the off season, so now it's a little bit more that like 0-7, 0-10, getting some more sweep while kind of maintaining the velocity. I guess it's just the pitch I feel the most confident in, and I just try to really keep my wrist stiff and just kind of comes naturally. I don't want to sound like I don't know. I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, but it's just that's always been my pitch.
No, I got you. And there's, I mean, hey, however explain whatever works best, Was there any velocity jump from last year? Because I know you were low 90s. Is there anything like 94, 95 this fall, or kind of just about the same?
There was a couple 95s, a good amount of 94s. So I would say as a whole, velocity definitely has gone up. Kind of looking to sit more in that like 3 to 4 range this year. Try to maintain that in whatever role it is that I'm gonna have, and then kind of keep that slider in that 85, 86 range. I think with some adrenaline, kind of once we get into the season, might be able to see it go a little bit higher. Put on about 10 pounds, so I feel good about the velocity going into this season.
Perfect. And what was it? Is the SEC season opener? Is that Mississippi State? Is that at Doobie Noble, or is that at the box?
Yes,
I can't remember.
We'll be at Mississippi State.
That'll be a good environment. I know those guys would rock every single year.
Definitely right out the gate too. I would imagine as long as it's not 40 degrees and windy, it'll be pretty packed.
Oh, if it's 40 and windy.
But
the last question I was going to ask you is there some guys in the SEC you're looking forward to facing most this year, or just kind of broadly just excited to get going?
My mom is from Nashville, and a bunch of her family grew up Tennessee fans, and they kind of live in Tennessee. So, I'm going to have to find a way to scrap together about 40 tickets from my teammates for that one.
Yeah.
So I think being able to see a lot of my family there will be cool, and obviously that's a fun environment to play in. And Arkansas, my high school is it's like a feeder to Arkansas. I got a lot of friends at Arkansas, so I think that'll be cool to see them there too.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Griffin, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us. We're really excited to watch you this season and LSU and everything you all are going to do down there. So wishing you nothing but the best and good luck this year.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.